So tonight everybody is staying home to watch, to study together in the Buddha's words. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Good. So we are actually also testing a new program. So some of you are using the new program, so you have to let us know how with that program goes, okay? So even though you're staying home, this is also an opportunity to keep on studying using the technology, and we should be grateful for all those tech guys who actually invented all these advanced technology for us. Otherwise, it's impossible for us to reach to everybody in other parts of the world. And tonight is very special. We have friends joining in through that special program from China, from USA, and from Hong Kong. Okay, so we are actually studying this book. This is called In the Buddha's Words. Can everybody see this? This book. Okay, so if you do not have it now, just listen then. If you want to buy a copy, you can order it online, or there is a PDF copy, PDF version online, free PDF version online also. So we have been studying this book for the last little while. So tonight we are going to read from page 118, starting from subchapter 2, the family, parents and children, all the way to page 120. These householders are the 4 kinds of marriages. Okay? So everybody clear on that? We're going to read that. Page 118, the family, starting from the family, all the way to page 120. The last line is, these householders are the 4 kinds of marriages. Okay? Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The family, parents and children. Respect for parents. Monks, those families dwell with Brahma, where at home the parents are respected by their children. Everybody finished reading? Good. Okay, it feels very strange. But we have done that before, haven't we? But it's me oversees one person in front of the camera, and everybody is in the Dhamma hall. Remember that? Now I'm in the Dhamma hall, and you are everybody everywhere. It feels really funny. It tells you how the life goes on, how life goes round in a cycles. I see it this way. You see, life goes round in a cycle. And these kind of things, you see, within this lifetime, we see it go round in a cycle like this. Changing position, right? I don't think she get it, no? Is it good? Good. Good, oh, that's nice. Changing position, so we should be prepared. We should be prepared that, to be flexible. We should be flexible, and we should be really prepared for changes. And I think this virus actually is giving us a lesson. giving us a lesson, showing us a lesson. Life has been too crazy. Crazily busy, crazily craving, and crazily agitated. And I think this virus actually gives us a hint that really we need to what? Hush. Slow down. Hush our life and reunite again. People are breaking up from people. People are not supporting people. People are running after only them. A lot of people are running after their own needs and forget about others. And I think this virus thing actually is teaching us we better wake up. We better wake up to actually look at the world and look at humanity and look at ourselves in a different perspective and quiet down the mind, quiet down the body. But sadly, in love is when everybody is home, then all they do is using their phones and go online. And, I strongly recommend you, if you call yourself a practitioner, I strongly recommend you use the time at home. If you're working from home, you work, but the rest of the time you try to do more meditation. And over weekends, don't go anywhere. Just make a sandwich and do a 1-day course, 2-day courses. And that will really fulfill the wish of the virus. We were at the prison last week. I was teaching the one of the path of the Eightfold Noble Path, the right efforts, and we were talking about the 4 abodes. So the 4 abodes, the first one is metta, loving kindness, right? The second one is compassion, right? It's karuna, right? Karuna. Or if some English people will say karuna, and it sounds very much like corona. And one of the guys said, we should spread this virus out, coronavirus, compassion virus, rather than the coronavirus. And I said, wow, you see, even him inside the prison, serving his sentence, serving his time, could come up with such a wholesome thought right there. And he said, we should spread this coronavirus out, not coronavirus. So if we have a little bit more karuna or compassion, then we will keep washing our hands very diligently. We'll keep our distance, and we won't go out unnecessarily, and we won't go and hoard things, stocking up for toilet papers and stocking up for rice. I mean, go back to the ancient days. We can use towel to clean our butts and everything, and we don't need really sophisticated toilet paper. We are all spoiled. I remember when I went to India, the first thing I went to buy is toilet paper because we have to provide them ourselves. We have to provide ourselves with our own toilet paper. And I only bought just a few rolls because I thought, so what do Indians use? I asked them. They said, we use towel and water. Wow, I said, that's great. That's nice and clean, very hygienic. So I mean, if you see the long course, 30 days, 45 days, how much toilet paper are you going to stock up, right? So people but in the middle of the course, you can order toilet paper. They provide you. They just have to charge you after the course. But, things like this, we can actually learn a great lesson. Okay? So tonight is still on this chapter 3, right? Chapter 3 or chapter 4? I think it's chapter 3. Yeah? Oh, chapter 4. Wow. Chapter 4. Oh, tonight we are talking about the happiness visible in this life. We're talking about the family. And this little paragraph is parents and children, respect for parents. And it says, among those families dwell with Brahma, where at home the parents are respected by the children. The Brahma and the families dwell with the ancient teachers, where at home the parents are respected by the children. And he said, Brahma, the ancient teachers, and the deities, the holy ones, actually, he said, though familiar with the holy ones, yes. They are actually another term for what? For what? For father and mother. Why? It says here, why? It says, because the father and mother bring them up, feed them, and show them the world. So this paragraph is actually very, very simple. So the Buddha said, monks, Brahma, ancient teachers, holy ones is the term for father and mother. These are all considered to be sages in the old days. And they are like parents, help people, bring them up, show them the world. So these are like parents, okay? So then the following paragraph, he's talking about, I have this. Those families dwell with Brahma, ancient teachers, ancient deities, and holy ones are like parents, are like father and mother. And he actually say that because this is the term for father and mother in the old days. Okay? So repaying, the next subchapter is repaying one's parents. Here is very interesting. In here, the Buddha said, he said, I declare, that means I announce to you that in the world there are two persons one can never repay, mother and father. So, he said, he gave many examples and how people or how children repay their parents. He said, one way is you carry your mother on one side, on one shoulder, and you carry your father on one shoulder. Even for as long as 100 years, they live until 100 years. Even for that. And then when they get so old, what do? He said, you attend to them. Remember last week we talked about attending to our parents, right? Supporting them. So you attend to them by rubbing them with balms like ointment, massaging, bathing and rubbing, and even void their excrements. So that is how we look after our elderly parents as children. Okay? But what the Buddha said is, even if you do that, it's not enough. It's not enough. And then he said, well, there is another way. The second way is, if one were to establish one's parents as supreme lords and rulers over this earth, so rich, that means the children actually look after the parents, giving them that so much wealth and power that they are like the lords and rulers over the earth. And they are so rich in the 7 treasures. We talked about the 7 treasures many, many years ago. So I just want to recall your memory of 7 treasures. Anybody? You should all know in the Amitabha Sutra, huh? 7 treasures. Ah, you're very good. So, okay, gold. Tan Sifu said gold. Very good. Second one? Silver. Very good. And lapis lazuli. That's the aquamarine, we call it. Or it's lapis lazuli is kind of like a blue color. Yeah. 琉璃嘛，嗬？琉璃啊，琉璃咪 blue color 啦。藥師佛嗰次個藥師佛咪琉璃啊，嚇 blue color。Blue color. Aquamarine is different. What is aquamarine?
It's more like a greeny.
Greeny blue. Turquoise, we call it turquoise color. 金銀琉璃，車渠馬路，仲有咧？琥珀仲有咧？珍珠唔入嘅。Okay, so the fourth one is 玻璃 crystal, not glass. 水晶啊。Yeah, we call it 水晶 now, but in the old days it's called 玻璃. Okay, and then 車渠 is the white coral. But this white coral is very different. Okay, this white coral is not very different. It's very special. The size of this white coral is almost 1 meter. 1 meter, 3尺啊。Almost 1 meter, and it's very deep sea coral. It's not actually a coral, it's like a shell. It's not a clam, but it's a, is it called a conch? C-O-N-C-H? Is it a conch? Yeah, something like that. But it's got a very flat surface. You can, so people people use it to make beads, rosary beads. And then ruby. And then emerald or amber. Okay? So this, he said, even if you establish your parents like a supreme lord and rulers who possessing all these 7 treasures, is it enough? It says here, not enough. One would not do enough for them, nor would one repay them, he says. Even, you see, we don't even give our parents 7 treasures, not even 1 treasure. How can we repay our parents? Okay, so I got this from the internet. This is one of the queen conch. Look at that big flat surface. Yeah, that is like a, they made it in, they call it 車渠. So it's really not like a shell that you blow. Yeah, it's more like a big clam. Okay, so but how? The Buddha said, so how can we repay our parents? There are very important steps here. He said, you encourages your unbelieving parents, settles them, establishes them in faith. So remember last, a couple of lectures ago, we talk about what? Did we talk about faith? We did, right? And faith in what? Faith in realizing the truth. Yeah? So faith. So, and then he said, encourages his immoral parents, settles and establishes them in moral discipline. So in sila, in morality, settle them in a foundation, which is so important for practice. And then encourages his stingy parents, settles and establishes them in generosity. So the first one is faith, second one is morality, and the third one is what? Generosity. What is generosity? Where does it fall into? Which category is generosity fall into? Paramita. Yeah, the parami. Why is parami so important? Why is parami in here? Why is parami in here? Is there any answer from the Zoom group? Why is parami important? Why would the Buddha put parami in here? No?
I think some people are trying to type, nothing's through yet.
Okay. And okay, let us look at the last one then. You will know why it is important. Settles and establishes them in wisdom. Does this, then you do enough for your parents. Why is parami important? Because parami, or generosity is one of the paramis. In order to improve and progress on the path, one needs parami as a shield, and like when you go on a trip, you need money. These are your resources. Yeah? These are your resources. These are your, what is the best word for this? You can use it. You need to. Okay? Then if you don't need, if you don't have it, then even though you establish in a very good moral discipline, it's very difficult for you to progress on this path further. There is a story in the old days. There are two good friends who are practitioners, very good. And one is actually very diligent. I think I have talked about this story before. You probably say that I haven't told you this story before. So one was very diligent in meditation, and he always hide himself in a cave to continue to meditate days in and days out. And the other one is actually very diligent in going out for alms and getting all the good things. So they eventually passed away. They end up they come back rebirth. They took a rebirth. So one day, this practitioner A, who actually was very diligent in meditation, also reborn as a monk. And so he had to go out for alms. So you know, when monks go out for alms, they go visit 7 houses, 7 households. So he didn't get any until the last one. He arrived to a very, very wealthy household, and he asked for alms, and nobody would give him alms. Nobody would give him any offerings. But he saw a big white elephant, all decorated with adornments like precious jewels. You know, white elephant is actually very precious in the old days, and they decorate him. And this meditator monk saw, oh, that white elephant used to be my Dhamma brother, the one who went out for alms. And this one was the very diligent meditator. As soon as he recognized his Dhamma brother from last life being reborn as an elephant, he I don't know whether he actually said these 2 verses. but I'm translating, okay. He said, 修福不修慧，猶如白象大鷹落. So if you actually practice and collect paramis, but you don't practice the path to wisdom, you're like the white elephant wearing all these precious jewels, all these adornments. And then he said, so 修慧不修福，猶如羅漢托空缽. So if you actually practice the path to wisdom, but you do not practice the path of generosity, a path of parami, it's like an arhat holding an empty bowl. You understand? You understand? You don't understand? Oh, okay. So if you only practice the parami and forget about the practice to the truth, so you are just like the elephant, because you actually do a lot of parami, right? So you get a lot of good wholesome deeds. You do a lot of wholesome deeds, and you will have wholesome consequences. So you will be reborn into becoming a precious animal, born into a very rich family, being well looked after, being well decorated, being well fed. That one you understand? Okay. And then, but if you are practicing the path to liberation of the truth, but you do not practice giving, and adatana, all those parami, tolerance and all those, then one day you may become an arhat. But because you did not establish connection with people, then you will go out to get alms. You won't get one because you got an empty bowl. You will end up with an empty bowl. The bowl will never be filled with offerings because you have not established a connection with others. Understand? Okay. Any the Zoom group understand too? Did they hear? Okay. Okay. Okay, good. That's very nice. It's like interaction, right? I like that. So he said he repays them and more than repays them for what they have done for him. So for me, I think this is actually very difficult to do. Establish your parents in faith, establish your parents in moral discipline, establish your parents in generosity. This is a little bit easier because it doesn't have to be related to faith and religion, right? And then the last part is, the wisdom is it has to entail meditation. And I think you still have parents, some of you still have parents who are alive, and you find it very difficult, don't you? Yeah, it's easy to really look after them in the mundane level, but to actually encourage them on a supramundane level, direction is actually very difficult. Yeah, so, but still try. Try. At least start from the generosity. Generosity, the parami, at least start from there. Okay? So husband and wives, this is actually very interesting. And the Buddha said there are 4 types of marriages when he was asked by this group of women who were traveling. And he said there are 4 kinds of marriages. The first kind is a wretch lives together with a wretch. And the second one is a wretch lives together with a goddess. And the third one is a god lives together with a wretch. And the fourth one is a god lives together with a goddess. So a raj lives together with a raj. So it's also clear. Oh, no animation. One. Okay. So the husband destroys life. That means he kills. He takes what is not given. That means he steals. He engages in sexual misconduct. And he speaks falsely. That means he lies. He indulges in wine, liquor, and intoxicants. Or liquor. You pronounce it as liquor here? Liquor, okay. We pronounce it as liqueur in Britain, right?
Liqueur is a kind of a drink.
Oh, really? Oh. Really? But how come?
We're all non-drinkers. We don't
Liquor.
A liqueur is a kind of liquor.
Oh, the white. Ah, okay. Liquor. Liquor, okay. So, and this is a raj. Okay, so a raj, that means the one who actually doesn't abide by any of those morality, right? Any of those rules, any of those 5 precepts. So that is a raj. And this is what the husband like. The husband is like. But he lives together with a raj. So, who is the other raj? Oops. Yeah, who is the other raj? The other raj is a wife. The other raj is the wife. And they dwell at home with a heart obsessed by the stain of stinginess. Stinginess, that's guhon. Stinginess, that means they don't want to give, no, not generous. Okay, dwells at home with a heart obsessed by the stain of stinginess. That means they're not willing to share. They're not willing to give. And then he abuses and how do you pronounce this? Reviles? Reviles ascetics and Brahmins. What does he mean by this? Turn on the microphone so that they can actually. What does he mean by this? He abuses and reviles ascetics and Brahmins. So in those Indian days, ascetic and Brahmins are considered to be highest class. So he abuses and reviles. That means they don't respect them, right? Yeah. And then his wife is exactly the same in all respects. So a raj lives together with a raj. Okay? So then the second type of marriage is a raj lives together with a goddess. So that means the husband is the same as the first marriage. The husband is one who destroys life, who takes what is not given, doesn't belong to him, and he indulges in sexual misconduct, speaks falsely, indulges in wine, liquor, and intoxicants, the basis for negligence. He is immoral, of bad character. But the wife is different. The wife is a goddess. The wife is one who abstains from the destruction of life and who abstains from sexual misconduct, abstains from taking things which doesn't belong to her, and abstains from speaking falsely and also taking intoxicants. So in a way, she is virtuous, she is of good character, and she is generous. And she dwells at home with a heart free of the stain of stinginess. And she does not abuse or revile ascetic and Brahmins. That means she respects them. So this is a raj lives together with a goddess. That means a husband who is actually not moral and always perform unwholesome deeds, but whereas the wife is opposite. Okay? All right. Then the third one is a god lives with a raj. So it's very obvious that means the man, the husband, is doing all these wholesome deeds, okay? Abide by all the rules, all the 5 rules, and respect the teachers, ascetics, and the Brahmins. But his wife is the one who is doing this, who abuses and reviles the ascetics and Brahmins. So here is the husband being the wholesome person, and the wife being the unwholesome person. So the last one kind of a marriage is a god lives with a goddess. So both of them are moral. The husband abstains and the wife abstains too. And they are both virtuous. And they dwell at a home with a heart free from the stain of stinginess. And he does not abuse or revile ascetics and Brahmins. And his wife is exactly the same in all respects. So these are the 4 kinds of marriages. Of course, this chapter is actually really talking about teaching the Dhamma to who? To who? Householders? Monastics? Householders. Householders, yeah, householders. So now, then we have to ask the householders the questions. Householders the questions. That's okay, let them speak. So let us go to reflections. So do you agree with what the Buddha taught about repaying the parents? Do you agree?
Yes.
Can we do better than that?
Yes.
Good. Have you been doing better than that? Or are you doing better than that?
Trying.
Trying.
Too late.
I know. But you know what? No, Paul, it's never too late, because you can treat all the elderlies as your parents. You can still love all the elderlies like you would have loved your parents. So that continue on. So I know, yeah. We wish that we would have learned the Dhamma earlier, when our parents are here, right? That's okay. Never mind. But that's all conditions.
I have 2 grannies that can help.
Oh, you have? Oh, yeah, one here and one there, right? Yeah, yeah. We have 2 grannies too. Yeah, it's true. So never too late. Okay. Why? What do you think? Why would the Buddha said we need to repay our parents? Just so simple? Because because parents are of great help to their children, they bring them up, feed them, and show them the world? You can shut the door if you want. Really? You have this body from our parents, yeah. Our parents gave us this physical body. And why would having such a physical body is so important?
We can't practice without.
We cannot practice without this physical body. That's why it's such a precious gift that our parents have given us, right? So the least that we can do is, if we cannot do all those things for our parents, not giving them the 7 treasures, not able to make them the Lord or rulers, but at least we should have gratitude. We should have gratitude, okay? And then the second question is, the Buddha taught how we can repay our parents in mainly 2 respects. Which 2? Oh. We have talked about that. Okay? Which two respects? Or which two aspects?
Material and material.
Yes, go ahead. Material, physical, body, okay. And then? Huh?
Yeah, and spiritual.
And spiritual, yeah. Yeah. Those 7 treasures are material. And physical is anointing them with ointments and massages and all that. And the second aspect, or the second respect, is what? Giving them the spiritual part, the faith, the morality, the wisdom, the generosity. Yeah? So there's two respects. So are we doing that? Are we doing that at all? I managed to do a little bit when my parents were still alive, huh? We managed to do a little bit. Yeah. So I think I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky.
Actually, for me personally, I felt very fortunate that I was able to actually go to a course with my dad, the 10-day sit.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, and my mom, even though her mind is not so there now, but
Yeah.
whenever I visit her, I try to give her the Chinese Heart Sutra,
Ah.
and she can read it, but she always say that she doesn't know how to read it, but once she looked at it, she started reading it.
Oh.
And I could tell that she actually does read it, and she said that she doesn't really understand it, and I just tell her, you're not supposed to, you don't have to understand it, you just read.
Yeah.
She actually do read it when
That's
when
great.
you get a chance to just go there and just because
Yeah.
just to occupy your mind for
Yeah. For a couple of minutes, right? Yeah. That's great. Yeah. That's good. So which one is more important? We were talking about that. Which one is more important? Of course, the spiritual. Of course, when we cannot give them the spiritual part, then the physical part is more important, if they are not ready to receive it yet. So you try as best to provide them with the physical part. But when they are ready, anytime, if there is an opportunity, and you should try to give them a little bit of the spirituality part, right? So I remember my dad. When he was in his 80s, he developed this kind of itchy skin. And no matter what kind of medications he took, it couldn't eradicate the itchiness. So I gave him a rosary beads, right? 108. I said, you know what? I don't think the doctor can cure you, can cure your itchiness. Why don't you try these rosary beads? Every night before you go to bed, you recite Guan Yin Pusat, Guan Yin Pusat, Guan Yin Pusat. 108, then you go to bed. Because there was no way out, right? But he was so clever. He did not just recite. You know what he did? Later on, I think after some time, I asked him. He was still living with my brother at that time. I asked him, is the itchiness gone? He said, oh, it's gone, long time. I said, did you do Guan Yin Pusat? Oh yeah, of course I did. I said, really? He said, yeah, and I did one more thing. I said, what did you do? I put my hand on the itchy place when I chanted the Guan Yin Pusat. He said, I put my hand on the edge. It was here. It was here. So he said, I put my hand there. I lie on bed. I put my hand there and Guan Yin Pusat, Guan Yin Pusat, Guan Yin Pusat. And then he said, in a couple of days, it's all gone. No matter what kind of ointments, cream the doctor gave him, it didn't work. But his hands and Guan Yin Pusat worked. So that was really wonderful to hear that he actually did it. And since then, he did it every night before he went to before he actually closed his eyes and sleep. But he did it lying down. But anyway, it doesn't matter, right? So that was funny. Okay, so some of you are wives, some of you are husbands or used to be husbands. So which one are you? Are you a wretch or a god or goddess at home? Sometimes.
I think I've experienced 3 out of 4. But I gave up looking for another goddess.
Oh, you gave up looking for a goddess. Good for you. It's about time, isn't it? Yeah. Nobody give me any answer? Nobody say anything from the Zoom group?
I think in a lot of relationships, I don't know to what degree, but it can shift from one to another.
It's true. Yeah.
Situations and problems.
Yeah.
Lori and Versha are nodding.
Yeah. It's very difficult not to be a wretch sometimes. But how fast we can stop being a wretch, that's important, right? It's very difficult because we are still human beings. Somebody saying something?
I just wanted to say sometimes it's nice that when I'm being a wretch, he gets more godlike, or he's making that. Like we balance each other out sometimes.
I like that. That's actually very good.
She is on the middle path.
See, can you repeat that? Some of them didn't hear. I can tell they couldn't hear Paul's comment on that one.
Paul's comment.
Yeah.
Paul said that he has experienced 3 out of 4.
Oh, sorry. No, the last one.
Oh.
On the middle.
So who?
Versha.
Versha, you're on the middle path if you balance her.
That's a compliment, Versha.
Thank you.
But really, take the Buddha's teachings to heart and become a god or goddess, okay? All right? Nobody say okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Okay, I think that's good for tonight. Okay. May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the other living beings together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the words of the Buddha, study them, practice them, and help themselves to be free from all the sufferings, miseries, and be ultimately happy, peaceful, and liberated. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye. Good night.